Why is it that the harder you chase success, the further it seems to drift away? You're running, pushing, striving, and yet fulfillment, clarity, and peace feel like distant stars you can't quite reach. But what if the real secret to achieving everything you want isn't in doing more, but in doing less, calmly? Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, everything you're reaching for, success, happiness, peace of mind, just keeps slipping through your fingers? It's like you're always one step behind, always chasing, but never arriving. Now, take a deep breath. Seriously, breathe in and let go. Because here's the truth. Anxiety and restlessness are not the fuel for greatness. They're the brakes. They're the hidden enemies that quietly sabotage your progress. And what if I told you the key to unlocking real achievement lies not in speeding up, but in slowing down? In this video, you're going to learn something powerful. How tranquility can become your greatest tool for success. We'll explore 10 Stoic lessons that have transformed lives for centuries. Lessons that will challenge the way you approach pressure, setbacks, and the chaos of modern life. Stay with me until the end, because every single one of these insights will build on the last. And by the time we're done, you may never look at ambition the same way again. We live in an age addicted to speed. Instant gratification is king. Everyone wants quick wins, fast answers, and overnight success stories. But history tells a different tale. The greatest minds, those who changed the world, discovered a truth that most people miss. The more desperately you chase something, the more it eludes you. That's where the Stoics come in. They teach us that real power isn't loud or frantic. It's quiet. It's found in stillness, in patience, and in deliberate, focused action. The person who stays calm while everyone else panics sees opportunities that others overlook. The one who masters their emotions acts not out of fear or impulse, but with clarity, precision, and strength. This is how some of the most influential leaders, thinkers, and strategists in history accomplished the impossible. They didn't burn themselves out. They trusted the process. They moved with intention, not desperation. And today, you'll learn exactly how to do the same. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's begin this Stoic journey together. A journey toward doing more by stressing less. But before we dive in, I want you to make a mental shift. Not just listen, but lean in. Go to the comments and type, "True strength lies in serenity." Because this isn't just a catchy phrase. It's a decision, a mindset, a quiet promise to yourself that you will no longer let chaos control you. Now, let me share a short story that captures the essence of today's message. There was a young man named Ethan, a driven entrepreneur who built his entire identity around achieving success. He was relentless. He woke before sunrise, worked through exhaustion, and treated failure like a personal enemy. But behind the ambition, anxiety was always lurking. Every setback felt like proof that he was falling behind. Then, one evening after yet another discouraging day, Ethan ran into an old friend, Adrian, a philosophy professor known for his peaceful presence and unshakable calm. Sometimes it takes the calm presence of another person to hold up a mirror, to help us see what we've been too busy to notice. That's exactly what happened as Ethan and Adrian continued their evening walk through the quiet park. Ethan, still weighed down by frustration, finally let it all out. I always feel like I'm not doing enough, he confessed. I need to move faster, achieve more. Time keeps slipping through my hands. Adrian didn't interrupt. He simply walked beside him in silence, letting Ethan's words settle in the air like leaves floating down a stream. Then, with a soft smile, he began to speak, not with advice, but with a story. He told Ethan about a Roman emperor, one of the most powerful men in history, who understood something most people never do. Despite ruling over a vast empire, Marcus Aurelius believed that rushing was the enemy of clarity. Adrian recited one of Marcus's reflections from his personal journal, Meditations. If you hurry through everything, you'll never truly be present. Ethan raised an eyebrow, confused. How could being present possibly help with his overwhelming workload and pressure? Adrian explained gently, when your mind is anxious, it creates a storm of noise and movement. You rush, you react, you drown, but when the mind is calm, it sees clearly, it waits, it acts wisely. Then Adrian brought up another Stoic, Seneca, the philosopher who once wrote, "Nothing is more worthy of a balanced mind than living with patience and tranquility." As those words lingered, Ethan's attention drifted to a nearby lake in the park. The water, stirred by the wind, was choppy and unclear. You couldn't see the bottom, just movement and distortion. Adrian stopped and pointed at the lake. "Look at this," he said. "The more you stir the water, the murkier it becomes. But if you wait, if you let stillness take over, clarity returns. You see what lies beneath." That simple image struck a chord. Ethan felt something shift inside him, something subtle but powerful. For the first time, he realized he had been living his life like that restless lake, always in motion, always pushing, and never pausing long enough to let success find him. Adrian continued, "The Stoics knew that life has its own rhythm, and those who align with that rhythm, who flow with it instead of fighting against it, end up finding exactly what they've been searching for." In the days that followed, Ethan made a quiet commitment to change. Every time anxiety knocked on his door, he paused. He took a deep breath. He remembered the lake. He stopped acting out of desperation and started choosing calm, strategic actions. He focused only on what he could control and let go of what he couldn't. And then something unexpected happened. Success, once so elusive, began to appear naturally. Opportunities came with less effort. Peace came with more frequency. At the end of their walk that evening, Adrian offered Ethan one final piece of wisdom, quoting the Stoic teacher Epictetus. "Happiness and freedom begin with a simple principle. Stop worrying about things you can't control." A single sentence, but it stayed with Ethan like a compass. And now, as we turn to the next part of this journey, you'll begin to uncover the 10 powerful Stoic lessons that helped Ethan and countless others shift from chaos to calm and from pressure to peace. Shall we begin with the first lesson? Ethan's first real smile in days wasn't born from success, but from stillness. He finally understood that true strength isn't in control or perfection, but in serenity. Now, let's explore the 10 Stoic lessons that helped him and can help you relax into life while achieving real, lasting success. Lesson 1. Stop resisting. Flow with life. Have you ever felt completely drained? Not from doing too much, but from trying to control things that are simply out of your hands. It's like being caught in a river's current, fighting to swim upstream and getting nowhere but exhausted. That's the nature of resistance. The more you push against life, the more life pushes back. And the more energy you waste on what you can't change, the less strength you have for what you can. Imagine this. You're holding tightly to a rope that's pulling you. The tighter you grip, the more it burns your hands. But if you release the rope, you free yourself. Resistance often comes from wanting things to be different than they are, from believing that life must go a certain way, on your timeline, under your control. But the truth is, reality doesn't bend to our expectations. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not events themselves that disturb us, but our perception of them." That one insight has the power to shift your entire worldview. So the next time something unexpected happens, something slips out of your control, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself one question. Does this depend on me? If the answer is no, then let it go. Redirect your energy toward what does depend on you. Focus on your actions, your thoughts, your mindset. Let everything else flow as it will. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's not passivity, it's emotional intelligence, because fighting life makes you rigid, and rigidity breaks. But flexibility, that lets you adapt. That's how you keep moving forward. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, every obstacle, every closed door, every detour holds a hidden opportunity. But here's the key. You can't see it if you're too busy clinging to how things should have gone. If one path is blocked, don't waste your energy banging on the door. Instead, look around. Another door may already be open, quietly waiting for you to notice. But to find it, you have to be present. You have to stop fixating on what didn't happen. Acceptance isn't the same as giving up. It's the art of recognizing that life has a rhythm of its own. And those who learn to move with that rhythm instead of against it discover a more peaceful, empowered way of living. So, if lesson 1 is about surrendering resistance, what comes next? When you stop resisting and start adapting, life opens up in unexpected ways. But even as you flow with reality, one more challenge remains. How do you respond in moments of pressure? That brings us to lesson 2. Calm your mind before you act. Have you ever made a snap decision you instantly regretted? Said something in anger that turned a small problem into a much bigger one? Most of us have. Those impulsive moments where we react instead of reflect are often the ones we wish we could take back. Why does this happen? Because when our minds are agitated, we lose perspective. An unsettled mind distorts reality. It takes a temporary feeling and turns it into a permanent choice. That's why rushing is dangerous. And that's why the Stoics believe that your greatest power isn't in reacting, but in pausing. Marcus Aurelius observed that emotions like anger, fear, and anxiety only rule us when we hand them the reins. He wrote that these states exist because we allow them to dictate our actions. But what if you didn't? What if the next time your emotions surged, you simply paused? Try this. When you're tempted to react instantly, whether it's in a conversation, a confrontation, or a crisis, take a deep breath. Count to 3. It might seem small, almost silly, but that tiny gap between stimulus and response can change everything. That pause gives your mind time to reset. It interrupts the autopilot that leads to regret. Another powerful technique, self-observation. Ask yourself, what exactly am I feeling right now? Is this emotion clouding how I see the situation? You'd be surprised how simply naming an emotion, anger, frustration, fear, can take away its power. Awareness creates space, and space creates clarity. The Stoics also practiced something few people value today: silence. Not every insult needs an answer. Not every demand requires an immediate decision. Sometimes the most powerful move is no move at all. Let's say someone tries to provoke you. Instead of reacting, just pause. Let their words hang in the air. The silence itself can diffuse tension without you saying a single thing. And when life throws a decision at you, especially one loaded with emotion, ask yourself, does this choice need to be made right now? If the answer is no, wait. Time, even just a little, can reveal truth that pressure tries to hide. Responding with calm isn't weakness. It's the ultimate sign of discipline. When you learn to calm your mind before you act, your choices become sharper. You no longer operate on impulse. You respond with purpose. That kind of clarity doesn't just change a moment. It transforms your entire life. Now, let's move into lesson 3. Embrace life's natural flow. Life doesn't follow a perfect script. Plans fall apart. Situations shift. The unexpected shows up at your door when you least expect it, and often it brings no warning. You've probably been there. One moment everything feels under control, and the next it unravels. Maybe it was a failed plan, a missed opportunity, or a situation that spiraled out of your hands. The more you resist these changes, the more drained and frustrated you become. But what if, instead of resisting life's current, you learn to flow with it? The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't believe in forcing the world to match their expectations. They accepted that reality, unpredictable and untamed, doesn't bend to our desires. Marcus Aurelius offered a powerful shift in perspective. He wrote that we should not merely accept our fate, but love it, embrace it fully, even when it looks nothing like what we imagined. That means seeing every twist and turn, every obstacle or delay, not as something in your way, but as part of your path. The next time something doesn't go as planned, instead of spiraling into frustration, ask yourself, how can I adapt to this? That single question can transform panic into presence, because with every change, a hidden opportunity is born. But only those who are calm and aware will recognize it. If you're too focused on what's missing, you'll miss what's arriving. Another powerful mindset shift: let go of the belief that everything must unfold exactly as you envisioned. When a plan fails, it doesn't mean you've failed. It just means life is rerouting you, offering a new route you hadn't considered. So, adjust your course. Don't stop. Don't resist. Keep moving forward. Trusting life's flow also means trusting its timing. Some things won't happen when you want them to. They'll happen when they're meant to. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said it best: sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck. What feels like a loss today might be the very thing that clears the way for something far greater tomorrow. This isn't giving up. It's not passive. It's wisdom in motion. You still act. You still give your best. But you don't cling to one rigid outcome. So now that we've learned to accept the flow of life, what happens when pressure builds up inside you? When emotions begin to take over? When you stop resisting and begin flowing with life's rhythm, something shifts. You gain more peace, more clarity, and most importantly, more strength to face whatever life throws your way. So the next time you're confronted with the unexpected, when things change or spiral out of your control, pause and ask, how can I turn this into a lesson? Because life will always follow its own path. And the wisest thing you can do is learn how to navigate it with presence and power. Lesson 4. Fewer expectations, more actions. So much of our frustration doesn't come from what actually happens. It comes from the gap between what we expected and what is. Think about it. How often do we build elaborate scenarios in our minds? We anticipate how people should respond, how things should turn out, what we deserve, what we fear. And when reality doesn't match that vision, we feel disappointed, irritated, even defeated. The Stoics saw this clearly. They taught that instead of pouring our energy into imaginary outcomes, we should invest that energy into action. Seneca put it simply, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. We worry about things that haven't happened, may never happen, and aren't even within our control. And while we're consumed by these mental projections, we forget the only thing we do have control over, our choices. So how do we apply this in real life? First, let go of external validation. If you act just to gain praise, applause, or approval, you've handed your emotional well-being to others. And the truth is, people are unpredictable. Instead, focus on the process. Do the work because it's right, because it strengthens you, because it helps you grow, even if no one sees or praises it. Next, stop expecting others to behave the way you want. Everyone has their own lens, their own struggles, and their own pace. Holding rigid expectations for how people should act only sets you up for disappointment. But when you accept people as they are, without trying to change them, life becomes lighter. You waste less energy on frustration and more on inner peace. Here's a mindset shift. Instead of thinking, I hope this happens, ask yourself, what can I do to prepare no matter what happens? Hope without preparation is fragile, but readiness? That's resilience. The less you expect from the future and the more you focus on what's in front of you, the stronger and steadier you become. Don't wait for things to change on their own. Start acting. Take steps. Create that change from within. After learning to let go of rigid expectations and take action instead, we now arrive at a deeper layer of wisdom, one that speaks not through words, but through silence. Lesson 5. Silence is a powerful weapon. In a world that constantly encourages us to speak, post, react, and respond, silence can feel uncomfortable. But the Stoics knew that silence isn't weakness. In fact, sometimes the greatest strength lies in saying nothing at all. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we may listen more and talk less." It's a simple truth, but incredibly powerful. Because in most situations, our instinct to respond quickly, especially under pressure, only leads to mistakes, regret, or unnecessary stress. So how do we apply this? The first step is to pause before you respond. If someone provokes you, criticizes you, or pushes your buttons, don't fire back immediately. Take a breath. Count to 3. Then ask yourself, Will my response truly help, or will it just escalate things? You'd be surprised how many problems vanish in the space of that pause. Sometimes silence solves the issue before it even begins. Another practice is to listen more than you speak. In your next conversation, observe how often you feel the urge to interrupt, correct, or offer your opinion. Instead, try just listening. Really, listen. When you do, you'll not only avoid misunderstandings, you'll gather more insight, giving you an edge in how you choose to respond. Silence is also a strategic tool in negotiations, discussions, or even moments of tension. People who talk too much often reveal too much. People who know how to pause, how to hold back, how to observe before speaking, those people maintain control. They don't give away their thoughts too easily, and because of that, they shape the outcome more often than not. Finally, remember this: you don't need to justify yourself all the time. If someone doesn't understand your choices or questions your path, that doesn't mean you owe them an explanation. Sometimes silence is the strongest reply you can give. Apply this lesson. Talk less, listen more, pause before reacting, because the one who masters silence quietly masters their own destiny. After learning that silence brings strength, we now arrive at one of the most uncomfortable yet transformative truths. Growth lives on the other side of discomfort. Lesson 6. Embrace discomfort and grow with it. When life gets hard, most people's instinct is to avoid, delay, or run from the discomfort. We crave comfort. We look for ease. And when things get difficult, we complain, shut down, or wish things were different. But the Stoics saw discomfort in a very different light. They believed discomfort wasn't something to be feared, it was something to lean into, because within every challenge lies a chance to become stronger. So the next time you're in a difficult situation, instead of resisting it, pause and ask yourself, how can this make me stronger? Picture it like a workout. Muscles don't grow in comfort, they grow through resistance. In the same way, your mind, your patience, your confidence, all of it strengthens when tested. One key shift is in how you view failure. If something didn't go according to plan, don't see it as a dead end. See it as part of the path. Marcus Aurelius said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." That obstacle in front of you, it may actually be the very thing you need to face in order to level up. Embracing discomfort also means willingly exposing yourself to challenges. That might be something that scares you, like public speaking, learning a new skill, having a hard conversation, or finally taking action on something you've put off for too long. Each time you step out of your comfort zone, even a little, you build resilience. And the more you practice it, the more ready you become for whatever life throws your way. Above all, remember this truth: the pain of discipline will always be less than the pain of regret. Growth isn't found in avoiding struggle. It's found by walking through it, so embrace discomfort, because that's where transformation lives. After learning to embrace discomfort as a path to growth, the next step is just as powerful: learning to appreciate what you already have. Because without gratitude, even success can feel empty. Lesson 7. Practice gratitude for what you already have. In our constant pursuit of more, it's easy to overlook the quiet blessings right in front of us. We chase the next milestone, the next achievement, the next thing we believe will finally make us feel complete. But that mindset traps us in a cycle of never enough. The Stoics understood that real wealth isn't found in possessions, status, or the future. It's found in appreciating the present moment. Seneca once said, "He who is not content with little will never be content with anything." If your happiness is always tied to what you don't have yet, it will always feel just out of reach. One goal is met, and instantly another appears. And so the feeling of satisfaction is always postponed, always conditional. Gratitude, however, breaks that cycle. It grounds you. It shows you that fulfillment isn't a finish line, it's a perspective. So how do we practice this? Start small. Every morning when you wake up or each night before you sleep, name 3 things you're grateful for. It doesn't need to be dramatic. It could be the warmth of your blanket, a kind message from a friend, or a peaceful moment to yourself. Big or small, the point is to notice. When you train your mind to recognize what's already good, you start realizing that you have far more to appreciate than you ever imagined. Another key practice is to express gratitude out loud. We often take the people around us for granted, friends, family, co-workers. Yet each of them contributes to our lives in ways we rarely stop to acknowledge. Gratitude doesn't need a grand gesture. A genuine compliment, a thoughtful message, or a sincere thank you can go a long way. And when you express appreciation, you not only lift others, you strengthen the bond between you. The Stoics also used a technique called negative visualization. It sounds harsh, but it's deeply enlightening. Take a moment and imagine losing something important: your health, your home, your job, or someone you love. It's not about creating fear, it's about deepening appreciation. Because often, we don't realize the value of something until it's gone. This mental exercise brings awareness to what we have right now, reminding us that nothing is guaranteed and everything should be treasured while we still have it. And here's one final layer of gratitude. Learn to be thankful, even for your challenges. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The obstacle is the way." What you're facing today, no matter how hard, can shape you, strengthen you, and prepare you for what's next. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What is this teaching me?" Gratitude for the lesson transforms the struggle into something meaningful. It shifts your perspective from victim to student. Happiness, it turns out, doesn't come from what's missing. It comes from how you see what's already here. So, practice gratitude daily. Appreciate the small things. Recognize the quiet good that surrounds you. And slowly, your view of life will begin to change. The more you give thanks, the more you'll realize you already have enough. Gratitude sharpens your awareness of what you already have. But once you begin to appreciate the present, the next challenge becomes clear. How do you protect your peace in a world full of noise? Lesson 8. Reduce the noise and focus on the essential. We live in an age where attention is currency, and almost everything around us is designed to steal it. Notifications, endless scrolling, constant opinions, all vying for space in your mind. Seneca once said, "Life is long enough for those who know how to use it well." And yet, most people spend their time chasing distractions, filling their days with activities that drain energy but add no meaning. They work without intention. They consume content without purpose. They worry about opinions that don't actually matter. But what if you could quiet the chaos and focus only on what truly matters? The first practical step is this: eliminate unnecessary distractions. Whenever something demands your attention, ask, is this helping me grow or just filling space? Social media, sensational news, gossip, and trivial arguments, these are like background static. They cloud your thinking and pull you further from your goals. Start setting clear boundaries. Designate times for checking your phone. Mute notifications that don't serve your growth. And most importantly, learn to tell the difference between meaningful information and mental clutter. Next, simplify your routine. The more complex your day becomes, the harder it is to stay focused. Try this. Every morning, write down 3 priorities. Just 3. What must be done today? What's draining your energy for no reason? By cutting the excess, you create space for the essential. Now take a look at your environment, especially the people around you. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, complaints, or emotional drama, it's time to reassess. As Epictetus warned, we become like those we spend time with. If a conversation drains you, step away. If a relationship is filled with noise but no growth, set boundaries. Your mental space is sacred. Guard it well. Another often overlooked tool for reducing noise is silence. We've been conditioned to react, explain, defend. But silence gives you an edge. It trains you to observe rather than impulsively respond. Next time you feel the urge to jump into a debate, pause and ask, does this really need to be said? If the answer is no, save your energy. Use your words with intention. And perhaps most importantly, learn to say no. Not every opportunity deserves your time. Not every invitation, message, or favor must be accepted. Every time you say yes to something meaningless, you say no to what actually matters. When you learn to protect your attention, you'll notice 2 things. Your productivity rises and your mind becomes still. Reducing the noise isn't just a lifestyle choice, it's a strategy, a discipline, a way of living with purpose, clarity, and peace. After reducing external noise and refocusing on what truly matters, the next step is learning how to control your inner world, starting with the one thing always within your reach, your breath. Lesson 9. Use breathing as an anchor in moments of stress or overwhelm. We often look outward, seeking quick fixes, distractions, or someone to blame. But the Stoics taught a different approach. They believed that balance, clarity, and strength are found not by controlling the outside world, but by mastering ourselves. And one of the most powerful tools for self-mastery is something we do every single day: breathing. When the mind is agitated, we act impulsively. We speak without thinking. We make decisions we later regret. But what if, in the middle of that chaos, you had a simple way to slow everything down? Breathing can be that anchor. Epictetus said, "We cannot control events, but we can control how we respond to them." And between stimulus and response, there's always a moment, a space. In that space, you have a choice. And if you can calm your breath in that moment, you can calm your mind and your actions. Here's a simple and effective way to apply this. Whenever anxiety rises or pressure builds, pause. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold that breath for 4 seconds. Then exhale gently through your mouth for 6 seconds. This not only slows your heart rate, It signals to your brain that you are safe, you are calm, and you are in control. You can also use breathing before making important decisions. If you're on the edge of reacting emotionally or feeling rushed, take 3 deep breaths first. That small pause helps you step out of autopilot. You shift from reaction to response, from emotional impulse to intentional action. Breathing also sharpens focus. Next time you're distracted or overwhelmed, stop for 1 minute. Close your eyes. Notice the air entering and leaving your body. Observe the rhythm. Nothing more. You'll be surprised how that short reset clears your mental fog. When you return to your task, your attention will be sharper and your energy more grounded. And finally, during high-tension moments, like arguments, confrontations, or sudden changes, breathing becomes your shield. Instead of snapping back or escalating the tension, pause and breathe. That one breath might be the difference between chaos and calm, between saying something you regret and saying nothing at all. Because breathing doesn't just calm us, it also strengthens us. It trains us to remain centered when the world around us feels unstable. When you use breathing as your anchor, you reclaim control not over the outside world, but over your response to it. In pressure-filled moments, it's not the situation that defines you. It's the pause between stimulus and action. Lesson 10. Trust in time and the process. We live in a world obsessed with speed, fast results, instant answers, overnight transformations. But the Stoics knew better. They understood that real growth, deep, meaningful, lasting growth, takes time. They believed that everything unfolds exactly as it should, not when we demand it, but when we're ready for it. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Everything happens as it should. If you observe carefully, you'll see that it's true." And he was right. The more we push, rush, and try to force life on our terms, the more we exhaust ourselves. The more we crave instant results, the more anxiety and disappointment we create. True wisdom, then, is trusting the process. It's showing up consistently, acting with intention, and allowing time to do what time does best: reveal, shape, and align. Here's the first way to apply this principle. Let go of your obsession with immediate outcomes. Are you learning a new skill, building a project, working toward a goal that feels far away? Instead of staring at the finish line, shift your focus to daily progress. Ask yourself, what can I do today, just today, to move one step forward? Because when you add up small steps taken consistently, they become giant leaps over time. Another practice is to transform how you deal with impatience. When something feels too slow, when life isn't giving you what you expected, pause. Take a deep breath and ask, what's actually within my control right now? If there's something you can do it with purpose. If there's nothing you can do, let go and keep moving forward anyway. Worrying about a future you can't control only robs your energy in the present. Trusting time also means accepting that not everything will go according to plan. As Seneca said, "Fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling." This doesn't mean you should sit back and wait for life to happen. It means that when certain doors close or plans fall apart, it's often because something better is on the way, something that requires you to be patient, not passive. So, when something doesn't go as expected, before panicking or forcing a solution, stop and ask, What might life be preparing me for instead? Because sometimes the detour is the real path. And now, as we approach the conclusion of this Stoic journey, let's bring everything together. In the final section, we'll reflect on how all 10 lessons combine to create a life of peace, purpose, and unshakable power. So when life doesn't go your way, before rushing to fix or fight it, take a step back and ask, what can I learn from this? Because so often, what feels like a setback is actually a necessary redirection, a disguised opportunity pointing you toward a better path. Another essential insight: develop patience with the natural cycles of life. Just like a tree doesn't bear fruit the day after it's planted, your results, your progress, your growth need time to mature. If you're planting the right seeds, discipline, learning, consistent action, then trust that the harvest will come. Not immediately, but inevitably if you stay the course. Above all, remember this: haste rarely brings good results. Think about how many times you've tried to speed things up, only to create more problems, delays, or regret. Rushing through life doesn't help you reach the destination faster. It often sends you off course. Trusting the process doesn't mean doing nothing. It means acting strategically with presence and patience, not panic. So the next time you feel like you're running behind, ask yourself, am I truly late or just being impatient? Keep showing up, keep doing your part. Remain grounded, steady, and intentional, and let time handle the rest, because what's meant for you will come to you at the right moment, in the right way. If you've made it this far, congratulations. It means you're not just passively watching content, you're actively choosing growth. Most people scroll on, distracted, but you paused, you reflected, you absorbed wisdom that can shape your life. And that already puts you a step ahead. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 10 Stoic lessons spoke to you the most? How do you plan to apply it in your daily life? Leave a comment and share your thoughts. And if you're not sure what to say, simply type gratitude, so I know you watched until the very end. If this video resonated with you, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss another chance to grow with timeless Stoic wisdom. Until next time, stay calm, stay focused, and keep walking the path with intention.